Like, so what did you bought it for and how much is it worth?
Bought it for 3-4 crores. It's probably 10x, right? Boss, पैसा इतना बनाओ कि गिनने की जरूरत नहीं पड़े.
Your stock options became 400x.
अभी स्पोर्ट्स गाड़ियां चला रहे हैं, पार्टीज हो रही है.
Traditional values of a relationship, which our ancestors have, is no longer the reality in at least the big cities. So seeing that trend, why didn't you start a dating app before the foreign companies launched in India? Wasn't that like a timing that you missed out on? I think overall your portfolio got like 40% CAGR. That's what I read.
43% realized CAGR. Unrealized is maybe 50%, right?
So the biggest problem is financial literacy, if you ask me.
No, I don't fully agree with that view. I think there is one.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 1% Club Show, where we explore the financial and career journeys of the top 1% of this country. On today's episode, we have Mr. Anupam Mittal, who is of course a shark on Shark Tank, has invested in more than 300 plus startups. Anupam, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure, man. Sharan, great to reconnect.
Everybody knows you as one of the coolest sharks on Shark Tank, but I want to know from you, what does a day in your life look like?
My 3 roles are running Shadi.com people group,
Yeah.
investing, right, outside of Shark Tank. So I have a large portfolio. I have many companies that have grown very large, and that's considerable wealth for me,
Yeah.
right? If you take all those companies together,
Of course.
that's a big part of my wealth. And then there is this show that's become 20% of my life because it doesn't stop. It's not like हम 3 महीने हर weekend गए shoot कर लिया हो गया. अब जैसे मैं आपके साथ बैठा हूँ, right? So it continues before, after. So these 3 roles now, and I'm a father now. So there's a lot.
Right? So what time do you wake up?
I am up between 6 and 6:30.
Okay.
And I'm off to bed between 10:30 and 11 usually.
Now let's go a little bit back. I read somewhere that you started off living in a 1,000 square feet house with 20 people. That's how your childhood was. And fast forward to in your early 20s, you became a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Right now, that's a dream come true for most Indian kids out there. Like, how does somebody become a multi-millionaire by the time they're in early 20s?
When my grandfather expired, my dad was 15 or 16.
Okay.
And he had 3 brothers and 4 sisters. And he was the eldest in the family. So he went to Calcutta and he got a job making 100 rupees a month. From there, he used to send money back home. And, he slowly built up, because of his honesty and integrity, that company made him a partner. So then he moved to Bombay. He started his own factories. He eventually left that company and he became a businessman of repute. In the textile industry, there was nobody who didn't know Gopal Mittal. So when I was born, I was born in very humble means in a very small house in Malad. And it was a joint family with chacha, chachis, kids. 20 लोग एक घर में रह रहे हैं. But as I grew up, Dad started doing really well. As I said, he became very successful.
Yeah.
So by the time I was, maybe preteen, we were fairly well-to-do. And like you were saying, I was very influenced by, boss, America में, मतलब जादू है यार. मतलब हम पिक्चरें देखते थे, हॉलीवुड की म्यूजिक सुनते थे, इंग्लिश म्यूजिक. And US जाएंगे, Dad was doing very well by then, so he was going to finance my education there. Fortunately, I got a fully paid scholarship. So once I finished though, it took me a long time to find a job because recession में चली गई थी economy. But
this was the late 90s.
I didn't give up.
Late 90s, right?
Yeah, I didn't give up. मैं लगा रहा. I ended up in a company called MicroStrategy. And this is, you were asking me luck or decisions. Or everybody in those roles were getting paid some $80,000. They offered me some $55,000 to start. मैंने ले लिया. But within 1 year of taking that job, I moved to the headquarters of that company, became a very important piece within a startup within that company. Within 1 more year, I became director of strategic partnerships. My comp had gone up to 100K. I had a lot of stock options. Our company valuation went from 100 million to $40 billion. So I was a multi-millionaire.
So 400x.
Basically, yeah.
Your stock options became 400x.
अभी स्पोर्ट्स गाड़ियां चला रहे हैं, पार्टीज हो रही है, early 20s.
But before
Never
that,
seen so.
Can
See,
you tell me how you were promoted so fast? Because that is not luck. That is something of your doing.
that is two things. One is working hard.
What is working hard?
Working hard मतलब everything is your worry. Not कि this is my job, boss, मैं वो नहीं करूंगा, मैं वो नहीं करूंगा. मैं वहां भी बाथरूम जाता था ना. If there was litter, मैं उठा के कैन में डाल देता था.
So you treated the company like your own.
Absolutely, right. I leave things better than you found them. Even if something was not in my department or some other role, I would question everything, right? So people pick up on that. Ki boss, this guy demonstrates a lot of ownership.
Yeah.
That was one part. The second part was positioning myself.
So you acted like a 1% employee.
Right. If you want to call it that. Nice plug, 1%. I acted like a 1% employee.
Yeah. No, I think I can also draw parallels in my company also. Some few employees will go that extra mile where they want to show that this is my company as well. I'm going to stay, working long hours. I'm going to be there whenever the boss calls me. I'm going to work on Saturdays, Sundays without any complaining. And then that happens. I also feel like, these guys are not just employees. These are like real players.
Bilkul.
They valued as much as me. They believe in the mission as much as me. Right? So then I have no option but to give them whatever they ask for.
Yeah, exactly. Make yourself indispensable, right? तो एक बार मैं वो position में पहुंच गया था ना. Then I could ask for whatever compensation I wanted.
What did you ask for?
So my point is this, right? I didn't need to. I would say, मेरा जब review आया, I said, boss, I joined at, almost half of what you usually pay. I never asked for a renegotiation. Today it's my review. I have done XYZ. You already know. I don't even need to speak about that. That's why I'm sitting with you. I will leave it to you. आप decide करो no. I just want my worth.
What did they give?
I started getting paid about $100,000. So it was a lot of money at that time. And I had a lot of stock options. So, I was walking. तो वो American dream जो मैंने सोचा था ना, वो हो गया यार. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. I couldn't have imagined it, right? I was talking to my dad and I used to gloat on the phone. Dad, आपको मतलब देखो मैंने इतने साल में कर दिया. And dad was like, बेटा, I'm very proud of you. बहुत अच्छी बात है. अब चलो पैसे बना लिए, अभी शादी कर ले. Say, okay, dad, talk to you later.
So you have millions of dollars in the bank account. Of course, the obvious things will happen. So can you please tell about the obvious things?
Yeah. See, the problem is with me is, I'm kind of the all-in kind of guy, right? So while we used to have fun, but again, I was working so hard on building this startup within that company कि एक obsession हो गया था. तो जो आदमी 16-17 घंटे काम कर रहा है, वो क्या मतलब ठीक है, occasionally we used to go for crazy vacations and hire cruise ships and stay whatever, right? That was very
like a Wolf of Wall Street life.
I wouldn't say that because that lifestyle was like every day. हमारा कभी 2-3 महीने में एक बार, because we didn't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Right. But at that point, the dot-com boom was happening. And I was young, had made money. So I went all in, bought all these stocks that were going crazy, just like the crypto craze happened. वो dot-com craze चल रहा था. And then in 2001, it all crashed. Right. 2000 actually, March 2000. And our stock fell by 90%. Right, over the next few months. We were $666 of share price at the highest point. We had become a $3 share after the stock NASDAQ crashed in March 2000. By about November, December, we had become a $3 stock.
So 99.5% crash.
Mostly gone.
And then you never cashed out.
So what I had cashed out.
You bought cars.
No. I was buying other dot-com stocks.
Which also crashed.
Which everything got wiped out by 90-95%. So not only was I buying with the money that I had leverage on that stock. You put $5 million of equity. On that, you took another $3 million of leverage. And you bought more equity. So that's $8 million of equity on paper. But when it gets wiped out, that's now worth 400K, but you still owe 3 million, right?
That's what happened to you.
That's what happened to me.
How old were you?
Right. I was maybe 24, 25.
I can't imagine what you must be
25,
going through at that point of time. What did you do?
You know, it's interesting. You would think I'd be devastated, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't.
How now? Why not?
I was hurt.
It's like you were in a high and then you came down. I mean,
I was upset. I was disappointed with myself. I kicked myself for a few days. But everybody around me was going through the same thing. That was one. चलो सबकी फटी हुई है मतलब that helps a little bit.
Of course.
मिलके रोते हैं क्या हो गया. My roommate was also crying. तो सबकी हालत खराब थी. Not everybody was leveraged. One. Two, I was very young. तो इतनी समझ नहीं थी what this meant, right? Today, I mean, you're young, but you're smart. I was not young and smart. I was young and foolish. You know, अगर समझ में आता कि that much money at that point allocated correctly and compounded over the next 20 years, you could be a billionaire, right? If you made the right... इतनी समझ ही नहीं थी. भाई ठीक है यार, हो गया, फिर से बना लेंगे.
And then how did you pay back that debt?
So anyway, वो फिर it took some time, but we paid it. I sold out some of the assets that I had, and by then, fortunately, I had started a company in India, and I was moonlighting. तो यहाँ पर एक कंपनी हमने शुरू की थी, तो वहाँ से भी थोड़े पैसे आ रहे थे, तो वो भी मैंने यूज़ किए. Because we had a company called Satyanet Solutions, जहाँ पर हम IT services करते थे for other companies in the West, right?
That was your company only?
That was me and my cousins, right?
Okay.
So वहाँ पर हमने ये sagai.com शुरू कर दिया था.
What sagai.com?
Which was the precursor to shadi.com. But you know, we had saved about $30,000 in our company. और फिर ये शादी domain मिल रहा था.
For $30,000, we're getting the Shadi domain.
For about 25, something.
It was so expensive.
25,000 or 30,000 seemed exorbitant. कोई नहीं देता था वो time पे, right? But I believed that, boss, without a domain that can become ubiquitous, that can become known for the category, it'll be tough.
Yeah.
And this will make our job that much easier. तो हमने सारे पैसे डाल दिए वो डोमेन खरीदने.
Okay.
बैंक में कुछ नहीं बचा उसके. I mean, $2,000-4,000 होंगे. And things changed our fortunes. Today, I have to spend half of what my competitors have to. Just because the domain is
strong.
वो brand इतना strong है.
You know, how to be financially free. So that's our goal. So we do it through multiple ways. First, we have launched our EdTech platform. We teach personal finance, stock market investing, how to manage your credit cards, how to do tax planning, insurance planning, like all these things which have not been taught to us in schools and which everybody needs, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, CA,
I love it.
actor.
How big is your company?
So right now we have 80 people and the membership is almost 45,000 people.
How much money have you raised?
We have raised 10 crores from Nikhil Kamath at a 100 CR valuation.
Okay.
So that was about 6 months back. And ever since then, the company has 3x'd the revenues.
Wonderful.